So thank you all for stopping by and watching this. This is a spoilerless review, just first opinions. If you want an actual review of the new Doctor Strange movie, that's going to be coming in a long time. It's going to be a while because it's going to be after I get a copy of the movie myself, after it's out of theaters. That's when I'll be making a review of it, just because that's when I feel I will be ready to actually talk about the movie, when I can sit down and watch certain scenes of it over and over, tear the movie apart, and analyze it, because I love doing that. I haven't really gotten to show my movie analytics side much on this channel yet, but believe me, I will. I just have to say that Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is an incredible movie. I really think that it is very good. Objectively speaking, it's not as good as No Way Home. It's not as good as the previous Marvel release. I do want to say that as objectively speaking as I can be, but I am personally a huge Doctor Strange fan, more than I am a Spider-Man fan, of the hero in general. I do think that the Spider-Man movies knock it out of the park every single time in the MCU, but the character Doctor Strange overall, I am more fond of than I am of Spider-Man. So I am a bit biased when I say that, and I just am putting that out there so you recognize that. I do objectively recognize that this movie is not as good as the previous release, but it is still very good, for one. And two, for me, as a Doctor Strange fan, and if any of you out there are similar to me in that way, as a first-time watch, this movie felt just as entertaining as watching No Way Home for the first time. As a nerd of the MCU and a nerd of Doctor Strange, both of those things combined, this movie was incredible to watch, especially on a first-time watch-through. I know that as time goes on, I will continue to appreciate No Way Home as a film, and the value of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness in the Multiverse of Madness will probably depreciate a little bit, but it is still a very good movie, especially in the visual aspects, as we've probably come to expect at this point. Let me turn on my accent lights, I almost forgot. I did forget, actually. But, as we've come to expect from Doctor Strange at this point, the visual aspects of the movie are incredible, and they got even more creative with them, and I'm so happy with the visuals. Not only do they not disappoint, but they blew my expectations out of the water, honestly. And that is on par for the course with what you would expect from Doctor Strange 2. I mean, Doctor Strange 1 had some Inception-like visuals, but cranked up so much more. It was incredible. Doctor Strange 2 will continue to raise the bar in the visual aspect area. It's absolutely incredible. A fair warning, the movie is probably one of the more brutal Marvel movies that has ever existed. And I don't want to say anything more than that because I don't want to get into spoilers, but so I really do think that in the Multiverse of Madness is actually kind of skirting the line of the definition of PG-13 here. Not with language, but with visuals, because they did pretty much everything except show you the awful concepts in this movie in some parts. And I think it's incredible. I really, really do, and I'm actually happy to see them showing a bit darker content in the MCU, but they did keep this movie PG-13, so don't expect to see insane stuff in this movie, but I am just forewarning you that this movie has a bit more intensity than your average PG-13 movie. I personally think that it is skirting the line of the definition of PG-13 in specific scenes of the movie, because there are some things that it doesn't show you directly happening, but you know what happened, and then there's other things that it shows you, leaves out specific details so that it can stay PG-13, but it's gruesome. For a PG-13 movie, it's gruesome. So that's just, and again, that's only specific scenes, that's not the entire movie, but I just wanted to throw that out there, that if you enjoy that type of thing, if you enjoy seeing a darker side of the MCU, then you're probably going to enjoy this movie even more. But this movie definitely delves into a darker side of the MCU, and a lot of the themes of the movie are also darker themes, more philosophical themes, and I personally like that a lot, like I said, and it's just added to my enjoyment of this movie. But I'm just, again, forewarning you, before you go to see Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, there are some scenes that might throw you on your ass because you just weren't expecting them to be what they were, to be as intense as they were. Other than that, though, nothing really comes out of left field. The visuals are incredible. The story is really good, besides some glaring flaws that I saw that, again, I'm not even going to try to get into in this video because there's no way for me to talk about them without spoilers, for one, and two, I need to analyze it more because right now I would just be talking out of my ass. But there are some things that just leave some holes in the movie. I think it's not a perfect movie. It could be better, but I think overall the movie is absolutely phenomenal, and I cannot wait to do a spoiler review where I actually go in depth and analyze this movie. However, I think I'm going to start from the beginning. I'm really thinking now about doing an in-depth dive of every single Marvel movie, starting from Iron Man 1. I would love to do that. I don't think I have time to do that right now. I mean, right now I'm trying to prep to go on a vacation, so I'm trying to get quantity of videos out, and those videos will take a long time because I'll have to rewatch the movie several times, watch specific scenes, slow down, analyze, like all sorts of stuff like that, taking notes, write scripts. It's a long process to make a video like that. So, I'm excited to do it. I really want to. I just don't have the time right now. But if you're interested in that, then please do let me know, because I would love to do huge analytical looks at some of the MCU movies out there, and then maybe on down the line, maybe even do some huge ranking systems of them, because it's phenomenal. The series overall is phenomenal. I think that there's an incredible phenomenon that has happened with the MCU as a whole, and that is a conversation for another day. I don't want to get too sidetracked. As you know, if you watch my channel a lot, I tend to go off and chase the squirrel all the time, get distracted when I talk about things, and this video is not that scripted. It's just a little vlog video that I wanted to make, give my general opinions of Multiverse of Madness, and without spoilers, and also, I guess, talk about how I feel about possibly making MCU content, because this movie in particular, thinking about it, reviewing it, it seems like a very interesting movie to review. Specifically, Multiverse of Madness, because Multiverse of Madness is so good and has a couple of not necessarily crippling flaws, but very obvious flaws that could have made the movie. It could have taken it so much further had they found a way around or to fix those flaws before releasing it. So I think that it's a very interesting one to analyze because it has a lot of examples of both some really good film design and some really mediocre to even kind of bad film design. Although, again, to be clear, I don't really want to shit on this movie because it's really good, and I'm a little bit biased, again, because I'm such a Doctor Strange fan, but it's really good in general, and the mistakes of the movie by no means hold it back from being a good movie. They're not crippling flaws, like I said. I think that it is a very good movie overall, and once you look past the flaws, retrospectively looking at the movie, it is objectively, by my opinion, that's a oxymoron right there if I've ever said one before, but I think that it is objectively a good movie. So take that for what you will, because me defining something as objectively good as someone who doesn't have much, if any, experience in actual film development. I mean, I've done everything I've done you see here on my YouTube channel, so I have very little experience actually making stuff. And I do love analyzing and critiquing movies, but that only takes you so far, because at the end of the day, you can't get the full picture until you see the other side and you work behind the camera or in front of the camera or both and really get the full picture of what it's like to make something like this. I don't think that you being me in this case, I don't think that someone like me can talk about it like they know what they're talking about. So, take what I just said with a grain of salt for what you will, and go watch the movie if you want to. I mean, if you're not interested, then by all means don't. If you're not a Doctor Strange fan, I don't blame you, and especially if you aren't an MCU fan anymore or never have been, why would you watch the movie? But as an MCU fan and as a Doctor Strange fan, I thought it was a good movie, and if you are interested in seeing it, then go watch it and decide for yourself your opinion of the movie, or wait till it comes out of theaters, because that'll be cheaper to watch, and I don't blame you at all for that. I will say that being an MCU fan rather than just a Strange fan made the movie significantly more enjoyable for me. And not even just an MCU fan, but a Marvel fan overall, because this is the first movie in a long time. Spider-Man No Way Home didn't really do this for me that much, because it was more of just a very good standalone movie, which is what I wanted. I'd really been missing that in the MCU. But Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, it's not the purpose of it, but it has a lot of things that really gets my theory brain going, and that is something I've missed. because Loki, the show Loki, kind of did that a little bit for me. I mean, it kind of turned on that part of my brain, especially in the last episode, where it made me get into the MCU and start thinking like, okay, where are they going with this? Trying to put the puzzle pieces together that they're laying out in front of us, but it just wasn't enough, and it didn't really keep me interested. But Multiverse of Madness has me interested. It really does. Like, the things that they showed and the puzzle pieces that they laid out in front of us, some things are beginning to click in my mind after watching the movie. And again, I don't want to say what any of it is. You really need to go watch it for yourself, especially if you are an MCU fan who loves theorizing about things. This movie will make you go mad. I'm not kidding. That is one of the things that I'm so happy about this movie, and what it did was reigniting a feeling that I had lost since Endgame, because the movies and shows just hadn't been doing it that well anymore. It reignited that fan theorist in me towards the MCU, and I'm very happy about that. I hadn't felt that about pretty much anything in a while, and it's a very fun feeling. I think that theories can elevate a project so much, having fans theorize about the project, and I would love to make a video about that as well, maybe once I'm done reviewing all the movies. As someone who's been a very long time MCU fan, I have watched this series grow since, I think, around the first Avengers movie is when I hopped in. I think actually a little bit before that. I remember watching Iron Man, not when it came out, the first Iron Man movie, but not too long after that, I don't think. I know it was before the first Avengers movie came out. Anyways, so my point being is, I've had an incredible experience watching this franchise grow, and I would love to do a video talking about how important theorizing has been to that, because I genuinely think that theorizing things has been such a massive part of the success of the MCU. And I know that this is a huge sidetrack from the video that I'm making today, but I guess a big part of my video that I'm making today is also talking about future MCU content on this channel. And that is one thing I would love to talk about, is how theorizing and fan theories actually accelerated the growth of the MCU, on top of the way Disney marketed everything and made the movies and made them really good movies and put everything together. But I don't think it all would have clicked the way it did without the intense involvement in the fan theories. I really don't think it would have. That's my theory, I guess you could say, and I'm going to prove it to you when I make this video, because that's one I'm definitely going to make one day. That one's probably so many months out. Like, I don't have the time or even the knowledge to try and make that right now. I'm going to have to do a lot of research and stuff like that, but I will be making that video eventually. And that video will also I would love for it to delve into a little bit of the hypocrisy of Disney, the corporate organization that is Disney, because they do have a good bit of hypocrisy, and they have come out and said that they think fan theories ruin film projects, and they completely neglect the fact that the MCU is practically built upon fan theories. But that is a conversation for another day. I'm sorry that I got so sidetracked on this video, but also no, I'm not really. I enjoy getting sidetracked. I enjoy talking about something so enthusiastically because it's been a while, and my theory brain is turning. My interest in MCU has piped back up. Disney, you've gotten my attention. You did good with Multiverse of Madness and really good with No Way Home. 2 back-to-back movies that nailed it. And Multiverse of Madness specifically getting me interested in the greater MCU story again. Thank you for that. I'm excited. Now I'm going to go back to the beginning and start analyzing it as soon as I have time, and start making some MCU content on the channel. And if it does well, then that's going to be awesome. I mean, I'm so excited to see what you guys think of this. But again, I want to say I have a lot on my plate in the near future, so the series is going to take a bit to make. But do let me know if there's interest in it, because I will work on it a lot sooner and put a lot more effort into it sooner rather than later if there is a lot of interest in it. So, yeah, there's all that. Thank you for watching this rambling of a video. Go watch Multiverse of Madness if you're at all interested. I think it's well worth the time. I think it's worth the movie ticket price. It's especially good to do with some friends, have a social experience. It's awesome. It's really fun. The movie does not disappoint, and probably one of the best things about it is the visual aspects. You're definitely in for a visual treat. That is my opinion of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, summed up without spoilers, plus a whole bunch of extra information that you didn't ask for. Thank you for watching. Go do some stuff that makes you uncomfortable, because it will make you more comfortable in your own shoes. and I will catch you in the next one.